All right, shalom, shalom to the whole full active nation of Israel. We're going to start this lesson by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashem,
Bahasham,
Yahushua,
Yahushai,
Hashem,
Bahasham,
Rakadash.
Rakakadash.
Double honor to the apostles and the elders and the bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. All right, and I've taught us this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the whole full elect, starting with the 144,000 and the rest of the 1/3 that sincerely believe. So in today's class is going to be another edition of Doomsday Prophecies. And as you see, we're going to get into the left-right paradigm and ingredients for race wars. All right. So let me just actually pull up the definition of left-right paradigm. I think I had it here queued up. Okay, I'll just type it up.
Oh, Lucy, come here. Come here, come here.
Come on. Oh, let me share my screen. All right, so quick AI overview on what a left-right paradigm is. It says, oh, this is what it gave us here, but yeah, so it says this left-right paradigm concept theorizes that the two opposing political parties, right, utilize their tremendous hold over mainstream media to dramatize political distractions and engage in covert warfare, right? And in particular, this warfare being civil war, race wars, right? Also world war as well. Covert warfare and operations in grand performances of bureaucratic rivalry between or meant to propagandize and divide the populace, right? So a left right paradigm is used to basically set a difference between both opposing groups, but the leaders of both groups, left hand and the right hand, are on the same side. Another term for that is called control opposition. All right. So these are the perfect ingredients for race wars, which is also prophetic. All right. As the scriptures say, Jacob is Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So before our Lord Yahweh would return, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, there would be a war, a race war between Jacob and Esau. Right? The scriptures say what? Who shall rouse them up? Who shall rouse Jacob up? Judah up? Who shall rouse Judah up? Because it's going to start with Judah, and all the other tribes are going to follow suit. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip. I don't know if brothers got any precepts before I go play this clip.
I'll bring some now if you want.
Oh, okay, come. You got
just
some?
real quick, yeah.
Go ahead.
The book of Isaiah 19. I'm going to get straight to the point. 14.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai has poured out, so it's has sent a spirit of foolishness on them. This is NLT.
Mm-hmm.
So all their suggestions are wrong. They cause Egypt to stagger like a drunk in his vomit. So that's what you can see played out before you in the coming days, right? The Lord has put a perverse spirit, right? That means the spirit is contrary to righteousness on the inhabitants of Babylon. And we know that Babylon is synonymous
That's
present day to America. All right. And that confusion
That's
that
right.
spread around the world stems from the mindset of you Edomites, the so-called culprits, white people. So-called white people, because you're not white, right? You're biblical nationality.
Shalom. Y'all watch him.
Oh, that's it, brother.
Yep,
Go ahead.
that's right. Con. All right, so go ahead and get this clip. This is from the brother from GMS. This is the brother from LA, GMS Inspiration. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this clip, and then we're gonna pull up precepts. And lower on this lesson is straightforward and edifying.
39 white South Africans arrived just outside of Washington today on a U.S. chartered flight, granted citizenship status by the Trump administration. A surprise move because President Trump himself signed an executive order on day one of his presidency, suspending the refugee admissions program, quote, until such a time as the further entry into the United States of refugees aligns with the interests of the United States.
American flags in hand, South African families are shuffled in front of cameras as they take some of their first steps on U.S. soil.
I want you all to know that you are really welcome here.
With cameras rolling, Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau addresses the group of white South Africans who the administration is proposing to classify as refugees. But in his first week in office, President Trump shut America's door to refugees from all around the world, including victims of genocide and war. Now, the president is making an exception for one group of people.
The president, it was never about getting rid of illegal immigrants. It was never about getting rid of criminals. It was about upholding the white majority in the country. It's about filling the country with as many white people as possible. It's a bunch of fragile American racists who are scared that their skin color is no longer going to be the majority in the country. We are a disgrace of a nation. We're infiltrating Mexican restaurants. We're sending Mexican American citizens with no criminal record to El Salvador with zero due process, but they're rolling out the red carpet for white South Africans. That's where we're at right now. This was never.
And basically, this guy Trump is being used by the top wicked elites, right? These Edomite families, banking families, to basically stir up this race war between Jacob and Esau, right? And when he said what? MAGA, make America great again, it's always been about make America white again, make America Edomite again. It's always been about uplifting the Edomite empire because, like you said, because they're not white. That's one thing that people need to understand. These people that have translucent skin, they're translucent, where you can see blood flow, right? Is because they have been cursed, going back to Cain, coming back as Esau again. With they've been cursed to not have melanin in their skin. You see, so these them being white is not it's not even a thing, but it's about an Edomite empire, an Edomite rulership, and getting rid of you Jakes. Really, that's what they're trying to do. All right, the plan is to get rid of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, starting with you Israelites.
That's right. I got a quick one here. Just looking at that because going into the book of Micah, right? We usually bring this out when we actually see something physical happening, but it's prophecy. This is Micah 2 and 1. I'm going to read to verse 2. Point is in 2, right? Because it's go. They're saying now, obviously, they've made the way so that so-called those people can come over, right? But let's see how the scripture tells us for you folks at home. This is Micah 2 and 1. I'm going to read it from the KJV. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. So what we're watching is far-reaching in regards to the years of where they've reached in regards to what we're seeing. It's prophecy. And it's history as well, right? The history is this is how they take your land. Okay. So it says.
Well, this is the practice as well, right?
Yep.
You know, what we're seeing in terms of this race war, it's not a new thing.
That's right.
That's what you people need to understand is that this brewing of race war and whites, so-called whites versus so-called blacks is century-old plan by these Edomites.
That's right.
So when it says what, woe to them that devise wicked iniquity, work evil upon their beds, that's these top wicked elites.
That's right.
and you're seeing that evil play out right before your eyes in the form of race wars, and it's going to get. That's just the beginning. It's going to get worse than that.
Mhm.
I have something for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can I bring it out?
Yeah, no, hold it what you got because it needs to come out. Let me finish this. Right, just going into what came out. It says, finishing the verse. As a matter of fact, I'll read it again real quick. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds when the morning is light. They practice it because it is in the power of their hand." And here's the point, right? In regards to this move that we see here with these Edomites coming over, right? It says, Micah 2:2, "And they covet fields," right? Covet lands, right? "And take them by violence." Okay. We might not see something there, but a lot of people had to die for this thing to happen. Hey, listen, real quick. Folks, you guys know about what happened over there with the what was that thing called in the 90s? They had that nasty thing, those South Africans.
Oh, you're talking about
Rwanda and
peptide?
It was in Mandela nonsense and all of that South Africa thing.
apartheid thing.
Yeah,
apartheid. Apartheid.
right. Simply put, just wanted to preface that. Let me read on. It says, "And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage." You see? So yes, we watch that, as Brother mentioned as well. And we watch the apartheid thing and so on and so on and so on and so on. All right. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say on that in regards to the coveting fields, the land.
Go ahead, Maya.
Yeah. On the topic of South Africans coming over to the U.S., I have a definition here from the etymology term African, right? And it reads Old English Africanus, plural, native or inhabitant of Africa, from Latin Africanus, of Africa, African, from Africa, used of white residents of Africa from 1815, used of black residents of the US from 18th century, when it especially meant one brought from Africa, and sometimes was contrast to native-born Negro.
So you're saying in 1815 prior, because we did a lesson that came out today. So prior to 18th century, 1815, that term Africa was only applied to the so-called white natives of that landmass. All right, and it says sometimes contrast. Right, keep reading.
It says sometimes was contrast to native-born Negro as an adjective by 1560s pertaining to Africa or Africans. And then it says from 1722 as of pertaining to Black Americans.
Okay, so again, it's in the 18th century, so they try to throw you off by saying 1560s, but it says from 1722 as of pertaining to Black Africans. So there's blacks like a Black Americans. So there's a confusion there. But prior to this 18th century, it was only for so-called white native born. That's why the term Afrikaans. Today, they still got a name. Elon Musk, right? He's actually real African American. And that's what he's doing, because for us to be African Americans, you mean you came from Africa, obtain a passport, right? And your citizenship is now changed to African American. All right. So this spaceman is a place of confusion, because when you go into at a legal standpoint, you hey, hold up, you know, who's African Americans here? The invaders, man. Right.
Well, yeah, exactly. And you know, and that's the whole thing, is that Esau has the whole world believing that their ethnicity belongs to the land that they're in. And that's completely backwards. Your ethnicity belongs to a man, a patriarch.
That's right.
All right. When you go into the patriarchs, the 12 patriarchs of Jacob, that's the 12 tribes of Israel. That's where the 12 tribes came from. So, you know, Esau has this whole world backwards and confused as hell, man. Like he has you so-called Edom. He has not so-called Edomites, but he has you so-called white people calling yourself Africans. And African is not even, as you read, Mayan, go back into Africanus. That was he was a Roman general. So and he wasn't even a Roman. So who are these? This is why the Bible is so beautiful, man. You know what I mean? Like it's just a mess, right? The biblical nationality of these so-called white people is Esau, Edom. All right, not every single so-called white person is an Edomite.
That's right.
But the majority of them are Edomites, and you so-called Negroes are not Africans. Okay, most of you are Israelites. Some of you are Hamites, but the most of you are Israelites. You see, but Esau, what he had to do is rename you, as the scriptures say, right? He's put a covering cast over the people. And through him renaming you, he can now create wars based upon words and color, and not based upon your actual lineage. You see. So now you got so-called blacks fighting against so-called whites, and it's a complete farce. It's just a show, and you're buying into it. Why? Because the nations have drunken off the wine of Babylon, and the nations are mad. This is what we're seeing.
Let me finish up. I got the meat of this matter here.
Come.
It says the term African was initially used in Latin or later in English to refer to white residents of Africa.
There you go.
Specifically, those of European descent. Beginning
Yo, so Slake, so you so-called Africans, what do you say about your identity now? Huh? What are you, a so-called white? You complete bug outs, man. This is why, Jake, when you understand, Israel, 2/3, it makes sense why the Most High is going to take you out, because here you are coming against the prophets. Israel right now is focusing on the prophets. Why? We're saying this, why we're talking about, why we're bringing so-called division among Israelites, and Esau, Edom is waging war against you. You're focusing on the prophets, but your main enemy is waging war against you, all because you identify yourself as a so-called black person or an African, and nationality goes back to a man. Like I said, a patriarch.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Let me finish this now. It says to refer to white residents of Africa, specifically those of European descent. Beginning in 1815, the word's etymology traces back to the Latin word Africa, which was adopted by the Romans to describe the northern part of the continent, particularly the area around modern-day Tunisia.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I hate Jake Sack that called himself African. I'm not gonna lie. It's fucking annoying because, with all this information, the brother just looked it up. How can you still identify yourself as an African? Go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Okay.
So you said Northern Africa, right? So Esau always brag about them being the most populous, right? The most amount of bodies that's now living in America, right? But there's a trick to that. So Maya, look up northern Africans, right? Are they white? And then maybe Ahmad can Google northern Africa, northern Africa, and look images. Yeah, and images. So you're gonna read it. So northern Africa.
You want to look up northern Africans? Are they white?
Yeah. What we did today?
1 sec.
Okay, MENA, the Middle Eastern, that abbreviation came up.
It says, all right. It says the U.S. Census Bureau currently categorizes people of Middle Eastern and North Africa, MENA, descent as white.
All right. So when you go, hold on. When you go into America now, and you get into a job or a loan or whatever, you're given that application, and you got to take your ethnicity, right? So it's just about to increase their numbers. So they're saying if you're from these regions, present Tunisia and Northern Africa, you can tick white, right? But to the eye, you look like a so-called black person. But for office reasons, these people can tick white, right? So that's why, because he's actually the what do you call it, visible minority. But he tricked the people and said we're the visible minority. When the Bible tells you that Jacob is at the sand of the sea, that came out earlier in this week, and we're the majority. But he says he's the majority. When he had to cheat to put other people of Middle Eastern descent and Northern African people that they don't look white to the eyes, but as a legal status, he classified them as white.
Yeah. Well, now he's changing the narrative, and he's saying that he's the victim.
Good.
Right. When you get into apartheid, going into what, which I'll bring it out later, but a minority government of so-called white people. So now he's saying, we're sick and tired of being condemned for having to for slacking. We're tired of being condemned for our forefathers putting these so-called Africans and blacks into slavery, and they're tired of that narrative. So now they want to lash back and say that, you know what, we're the victims. And we're gonna get it in the clip. But go ahead, Al.
You mentioned that at camp the other day that they played the victim role, and when you go back to when Cain killed Abel, Cain was playing the victim as well. That's why he came back and said, like he said, a man attacked him and he had to kill him.
Yeah, he sung about it. Yep.
Yeah, so he's been playing the victim from day one. That's a main characteristic. So he plays the victim.
That's
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What you're looking for here, it says this means that people from countries like Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Libya, and Egypt are officially classified as white by the U.S. government.
That's right. So as long as you can prove citizenship from those parts of the region on the application of a loan, right? That's why a lot of these people are in our community with stores and businesses.
That's right.
And when how come they get it and they're black people, but they're not black to the government? They're actually white. But you think they're that all kinfolks are skin folks. It ain't so, man.
This is why you people need to leave alone these names, man. Like, Jesus Christ. This guy is able to do whatever he wants because you're giving yourself an arbitrary name. Arbitrary, if I'm not mistaken, goes into unknown, something that's not certain.
God.
But this is why he's going to come up against the prophets of the Lord, because we're giving you your biblical nationality. The only thing that's the only thing that this man, that this devil doesn't have his hands on is the understanding of the Bible, the true understanding of the Bible.
God.
That's it on that, Mayan?
Yeah, that's it.
Come.
I'm just really upset about something, and I want to delve into it real quick. Again, I know this isn't sports. I know some of you come here for sports. I respect that. But earlier today, a group of 50 white South Africans landed at Dulles International Airport as refugees. And they were welcomed into the United States under a humanitarian designation meant for those men and women fleeing war or persecution. And Trump has suspended this for all other.
Funny enough, you see throughout this clip, you're going to see that it's Edomites are getting on East. So also fulfills the prophecy of if Satan's house is divided, how can it stand? As well as their own tongue shall fall upon themselves. You see?
Groups everywhere in the world. And almost all of those other groups, or a huge majority, are people of color. And Donald Trump has allowed these 50 white South Africans into the United States because he says that there's a genocide in South Africa. And that is just actually not true. Trump said farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black, it makes no difference to me. And at the same time, you're watching people all over this country being rounded up, people almost exclusively who are of color, being rounded up by ICE, taken into facilities, exported. But white people are being brought in from South Africa under the false pretense of they're facing this life or death discrimination. So South Africa.
Yeah, this devil's being blunt. He's letting you know he's your enemy. But you still got 2/3 of it. You still got Jake focusing on the prophets of the Lord who are sent for them. You see, you Israelites, you have no sense of understanding of what's going on. You're focusing on the prophets who are sent for you so you can so you can understand what's going on. But and here is your real enemy setting himself up to come down with great wrath upon you. Even those of you that sold yourself out to him, because you were just being used as a tool for Esau Edom. Hence, we went into the left-right paradigm. Like you go into civil rights movements, like what's his name, Martin Luther King. How is don't they have a day where you celebrate that man? They have a day for that, right?
Mhm.
That man is there's a photo of him with Jacob Rothschild, and Jacob Rothschild actually gave him an award. So, like, you have to ask yourself, what the hell is going on there? If you understand anything about these top wicked elites and these banking families, you have to understand. You have to ask yourself, well, why the hell is Martin Luther King in a picture with Jacob? Like, Jacob Rothschild is not. It's not a nobody.
That's
You
right.
understand? So for Martin Luther King to be in a photo with him, nevertheless, be given an award by Jacob Rothschild, it should show you that he's a major insider, like the rest of our people.
Africa's own government is even coming out today and telling Trump, if you want to take on these refugees, that's on you. But just so you know, none of them have been properly vetted. A lot of them have been involved in protests that are pro-apartheid. And on top of that, these guys are actually claiming that they're being persecuted.
And remember, like, this is all a show, right? The media is all a show. These people, all these Edomites, they have no idea what's going on. They're just going with the flow as, they're zombies. But, it's the majority of these people, as we get further on this clip, you're going to see people of so-called
Reputation?
Good reputation, Slake. A so-called good reputation of the world, a good worldly reputation. They're going to speak their mind on the topic of what's going on. And Esau always loves to do this. He'll put a group of people speaking on a political or social situation, and he'll have the majority of those people speak about what he wants to go on, and the minority of those people in that group speak upon what he doesn't want to happen. And they all agree upon the same thing. So the whole idea of these people opposing, as we're seeing these Edomites oppose what Donald Trump is doing, they don't even know that they're on the same side.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? These guys are they're completely drunk on that wine that they don't even know that they're on the same side as Donald Trump, because you are playing the role of control opposition. Okay, that's again the two horns. Let me get that real quick. The two horns that spake like a lamb. That's control opposition.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Revelation 13? I think Revelation 13.
If it's spoke as a lamb.
Yeah. So, like, can I bring this precept?
Hold on, I got this. I got this right here. This is Revelation 13:8, and it says, "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him," right? Esau, Edom, and his system, whose names are not written in the book of life, and the Lamb. No, that's not it. Slacker.
Okay.
It's right. Spoke like a lamb on the top.
Where
it says verse or words. It's right. Spoke
Yeah.
as a lamb. Yeah. Help the brother out. Done.
No, that's not it.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
13:11.
13:11.
The water. So Revelation 13:11, it says, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, which is this system. It's a system, all right? It's an Edomite system that's being forwarded by America, okay? And he had two horns, right? The bipartisan system, the left-right paradigm, Democrats and Republicans.
Yeah, Republicans and Democrats.
yeah, come. That's funny. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, right? And he spake as a dragon. So basically, one side would play the lamb, and the other side would play the dragon, right? And that would that would give them power to fuel war, race, civil wars. That's it on that.
I got something to bring out. Ashar, you have something?
Yeah, Khan. I'll bring it out quick. This is a book of Psalm 73, and the point is the 12th, and it reads, "Behold, these are the ungodly who prosper in the word," according to Esau, and it reads, "Their increase in riches," like the brother Kassan mentioned. These people come into the word and they get loans and they prosper in this place. Meanwhile, Jacob over here, you will never get a loan. You know, you're supposed to, anyways.
Yeah. If you do, if you get a loan, it's going to be a high interest.
Okay.
It's going to be a loan that's going to likely be debt.
Nothing significant, to propel you into a place called wealth. I got this because you brought it. The Lucifer Queen, MLK Queen. How it's spelled before, KWEEN, means a prostitute. All right. This is the book of Sirach 12, 13 up to 18, and it reads. And this is in the what is this? This is.
Hold on. Ashar, you finished?
Yeah, it was.
Done, yeah.
Okay, come. Go ahead.
This is Sirach 12, 13. It says, "Who pities a snake charmer who gets bitten?" Right. So you mentioned him being with the Rothschild, right? It's likened to him being, charmed by a snake. Right? Or anyone who goes near wild beasts. Right. So the Most High will use that term beast. Even we're waiting for the unleashing of the MOTB, and that B signifies so we can't reset because it might get a channel hit, right? But to the wise, they know what it is I'm trying to say. All right. So verse 14 says, "So it is with anyone who goes near sinful people." Right. We know this man is called what? The man of sin.
That's right.
And becomes involved in their sins. Right, that's the overthrow, the stealing of men's inheritance. I think Malak brought out that precept about
covered fields.
Khan, right?
Verse 2, Micah 2 and 2. Go ahead.
That's right. But if you waver, they won't be loyal. So that's what happened to this idiot, right? Because he thought he was up in arms with them, buddy, right? Not knowing that this man was about to overthrow him and the people that comes of his elk, right? Verse 15. They will remain with you for a time. Verse 16. Enemies speak sweetly with their lips, but in their hearts they plan to throw you into a ditch. And that's what happened to him. All right. Enemies cry tears with their eyes, but if they find an opportunity, they won't be able to get enough blood. And we know this man is a pursuer of blood, as spoken by, I think, Ezekiel 35 and 6. Blood shall pursue thee because he loves blood. Right? Two last verse, verse 17. If you meet up with trouble, you will find them there ahead of you and appear to help you. Right? They will trip you. Last verse, verse 18. They will shake their heads and clap their hands, and they will whisper many things and change their faces. Two faces. Right? So now we're in 2025 asking the elders, like, what were you doing with him? You're supposed to be a so-called black leader, and you're hugging with enemies.
That's right.
Sipping wine and champagne, and
that's right.
Give it to girls.
Oh yeah. That's right. Because Esau knows how to keep you drunk off of honey. Hence the term honeypot. You Jakes are simpletons, and you don't know who you are, and he knows who you are, so he uses that against you. That's why the prophets, all right, we're the biggest threat, because we're not just bringing out truth on the first layer, second layer. We're bringing out truth based upon its core.
That's right.
Or from its core, slack it.
Right. That's right.
That's it, brother.
Come.
for being white. I don't know if you know a whole lot about South Africa, where Elon Musk is from, but the apartheid just ended not very long ago. If you don't know what that is, it was mass segregation. South Africa's government also came out and added that it's really hard to be a refugee of persecution when you're amongst the most highest earners and highly educated in the entire region.
Send in private planes to pick up.
Exactly. So, real quick, let's just get apartheid. I think I have it here.
Mm-hmm.
Just, do I have it here? No, it's
Yeah,
just
I saw you press it earlier.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, you did, yeah. One more.
Maybe I change it from here. Let's look it up here. So, apart. There you go. All right. So, a quick AI overview. Apartheid. It says apartheid was a system of institutionalized racial segregation and discrimination enforced by the white minority government. You see? So this was institutionalized by the white minority government of South Africa in 1948 until early 1990s. Yeah.
That 1948 should jump out at you. And we're not going to say what it is, right? But you notice, you know? Okay.
That's right.
It's like country.
No, that's good that you pointed out because I was just going to leave it. But yeah, that's right. It says of South Africa from 1948 until the early 1990s. It enforced separation of people based on race, particularly, and they base race off of color. So it's complete bullshit. It says it enforced separation of people based on race, particularly against non-whites. And the word apartheid means apartness, because you see, in these devils, man, they have a field day with you, Jakes, when it comes to words, because he's saying that apartheid means apartness, so he's set apart. But Esau has always been set apart, going back to Cain, based upon his wickedness in that mark. Every other nation is a different shade of brown, but these Edomites. Why do you think they assimilate themselves in dark nations? Because they want to hide. So hence why these guys are out here in South Africa. Anyways, so it says whites and the word apartheid means apartness in Afrikaans. The system, which is a Dutch language, by the way. When you look it up in etymology, it's Dutch. So it says the system was a key feature of white minority government's rule, impacting all aspects of life for non-whites. So basically, it was a bad time in slavery upon Jake. All right, with the minority of whites, which are Edomites in Africa, just like it is in America, just like it is throughout all four corners of the earth. It's not new.
As a matter of fact, there's scripture for what you just say, but go ahead, brother. I'll bring it out. Yeah, find it. He has made him small among the heathen.
You know what? Actually, I got two precepts here. Let me get this one. Psalms 90. Yeah, small among the heathen. Yep. Psalms 94. And verse 20. Straight to the point. It says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee? The thee being Esau, Edom, the Edomites. The top wicked elite. And it says, which frameth mischief by a law. And that's what Donald Trump, the cruel Lord, has done, right? He's framed mischief by a law. When his first day as a president, right, he basically said all refugees are not to come to Canada unless their interest aligns with, it's actually not Canada, America, unless their interests align with America. Now, I think, as they were saying, I think he rejected about 1,500 families that were Afghanis and blacks, and then he's deporting you Latin tribers, which are really northern tribers of Israel. and he's allowing Edomite families, so-called Edomite or so-called white families from South Africa to come in. So they're bluntly letting you know what's going on. They're not making America great again. Making America great again is making America white again, Edomite again. Okay, that's what they are. So it says, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth a mischief by a law. Okay, and that mischief is these race wars that he's stirring up. Second precept here is Psalms 58 and 1. Let me get this in the NLT. Psalms 58 and 1, and it reads, for the choir director of Psalms, David, to be sung to the tune, do not destroy. It says, justice, do you rulers know the meaning of the word? Absolutely not. Do you judge the people fairly? No. You plot injustice in your hearts.
That's right.
Right? Rejecting refugees of color, right, and accepting refugees of non-color is a straightforward statement, right, to you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They're not dealing with you, man. You got all these black Christians that want to save Esau Edom so goddamn bad, and here he is formulating a plan and manufacturing a war against you. Okay, so it says, verse 2, no, you plot injustice in your hearts. You spread violence throughout the land, and that violence is gonna lead to what? Race wars and civil war. Because ultimately, who are the two main players of the Heavenly Father's movie? Esau and Jacob.
That's right.
Okay, that's it on that.
I got something real quick.
Yeah, go on.
The book of Sirach, Ecclesiasticus 13. Let me start at 13 and 13. I read down to 15. So the book of Sirach, Ecclesiastic 13, verse 13, it reads, observe and take good heed, for thou walkest in peril of the overthrowing, of thy overthrowing.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
When thou hearest these things, awake in thy sleep. All right. Love Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai all thy life, and call upon him for thy salvation. Here's the point.
There you go.
Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. And in a righteous sense, this is how we feel about the elect. But Trump is doing what's prescribed here, that you don't like people that looks like you, man.
Yeah.
Right? So he's doing an unrighteous thing righteously.
That's right.
Exactly.
Because it's not his life to butt up anyways.
Exactly.
Right?
It's not his lot to love you, Jakes, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American. That's not his lot.
Good. Verse 16. All flesh. Go ahead, Mark.
No, I was chuckling. He's wickedly good, but go ahead, brother.
Verse 16. All flesh consorteth according to the kind, and a man will cleave to his like.
There you go.
Okay. So we're not basing things on a skin color here on the righteous side. We base things on your belief, and you have to be an Israelite. And we do know that we've been scattered, and we do come in all shapes, size, and color.
That's right.
So it's a mindset worshiping Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai that attracts us and cement us together as a nation. We don't care about no color, man.
Yeah.
You know,
it's all about the spirit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got a quick precept of Bakusha.
You're mute.
I was just saying that the Christians who speak about the mixed multitude coming in, talking about that's every nation, every tongue, every king, they don't understand the scriptures. right?
Yeah.
Because if they understood the scriptures, they'll know that Israel was scattered amongst those nations.
Mhm.
So the Most High is speaking about those scattered Israelites, right?
Yeah.
And not everybody, you know?
Yeah.
Can't be everybody, because the scriptures speak about Esau, Edom being destroyed, going into slavery.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
How
you
do
know, yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Elder.
No, I'm just gonna say that because what you're saying is reminding me of a thing, a metaphor I was thinking about today, about how these Christians, you know, they don't understand the Gentile thing. Like, okay, you can have green grapes, you can have a pear and a green apple. Does it mean that they're all the same fruit?
God.
You understand what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
can have a white wolf, you can have a white sheep, and you can have a
Mhm.
dove. Does it mean they're all the same animals?
Nope.
No.
Well,
And this is what you Christians don't understand.
God.
You're completely bugged out, man.
God. Or you got a cheetah, a puma, a lion, and a tiger. The
Mhm.
felines are the same cats.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. It gets
Exactly.
tighter and tighter. That's right.
Con,
Okay,
that's it on that?
Yes.
Con. Go ahead, Asha.
Yeah, this is the book of Jeremiah 12, and I'll read from 1 to 3 and NLT, and it reads, Lord Yahweh, you always give me justice. When I bring a case before you, so let me bring you this complaint. Why are the wicked so prosperous? Why are evil people so happy? We need to be prosperous in this place. Verse 2,
Yep.
you have planted them, and they have taken root and prosper. Your name is on their lips, but you are far from the heart. Well, obviously, you don't call the Heavenly Father Yahweh Shai. They call him Jesus Christ, right?
Yep.
Verse 3.
Also 2/3 of Israel.
That's
right.
right.
A lot of you Israelites, you know the name of the Heavenly Father and His Son, but guess what? He's far from your list because you don't actually truly believe. In your mind, you know the names, but you don't worship the names or call upon the names because you're far from Him.
Last verse 3. But as for me, Lord Yahweh, you know my heart. You see me and test my thoughts. Drag these people away like sheep to be butchered. Set them aside to be slaughtered.
And that's what's going to happen to Jake. Why? Concerning these race wars, because Jake is going to feed into this, right? They're going to feed into it, and you're going to and you feeding into it is you just being dragged to slaughter, to be butchered, because then you're going to have all these different Israelite groups saying that we got to stand up and fight, just like they did before. Remember, you had I forgot what camp it was that were calling GMS basically pussies for not standing up and rioting like they were a couple years ago. I forgot what camp it was. No, it wasn't Sakari. It was a different camp. It was I forgot what camp it was, but basically, you remember?
I think it was with some Muslims. They got into a fight.
No, yeah, but it was the actual Israelite camp that was actually going out there. Oh, okay. The brother says IUCPK. But it was another group though. It was another group. But anyhow, the point is that Israel, the 2/3 of Israel are set up to take arms upon themselves to fight against Esau, Edom, which is going to create race war, civil war, and the scriptures say what? Who shall rouse up Judah? Right? Judah's like a lion's whelp. An old lion, he is crouched down. Right? Who shall rouse him up? So it's going to start with Judah, you so-called Negroes, and all the other nations are going to fall in suit. Okay, but guess what? You're being led as sheep to the slaughter because you trust not in the Heavenly Father and His Son. You trust in yourselves. Go ahead, Ak.
Oh, that was it.
Okay, go back to this clip here.
8,000 Caucasian South African refugees when we're kicking people out that are in the middle of their immigration proceedings here in the U.S. now. Literally having people show up for their final steps of their immigration process and having them arrested, detained, and deported. It doesn't make any sense to me unless Farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being
slipped right there.
Yep.
He slipped right there.
His own tongue shall fall upon him.
Yeah.
But remember, this guy, Trump is not a fool. He's doing that on purpose. He's a that woman, Abramovich, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
She said Trump is our favorite witch. He's a good witch, and you know what? It's true. Trump is very smart. He knows how to get people agitated. He knows how to work on the psychology of people. That's why the elites have him in this position.
Right.
So he's going to say what? It doesn't matter who or what color they are, but it's white people. It's white farmers. You like he's not a fool. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I have the precept for that. What was just said, because
Hold on. Let me play this.
Rock it.
Hold on. Let me play this. It's all good.
happen to be white.
Finish what you got.
Farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being
Okay, they happen to be white. Whether they're white and black makes no difference to me. But then he repeats white farmers.
God.
That goes over people's head because this guy's a magician, man.
Yep.
He's a warlock.
God. If you look at him, he has a
brutally
script.
killed and
Like, look at him,
confiscated.
keep looking down. All right, you'll catch him looking down like he's reading up a script. You know?
Right.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
God.
Yep.
And the newspapers and the media, television media doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they talk about it. That would be the only story they talk about.
You
And
see?
you look at
Yeah.
All praises to Yahweh.
So these Edomites are saying if it was the other way around, the media would talk about it. The other way around is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. You talking about it primarily you Negroes. If it was Negroes, it would be all over the place. But because it's whites, no one's talking about it. So he's playing the victim. Just like Cain, when the Lord gave him his judgment, Cain was like, if anybody sees me, they're gonna kill me. This is too much for me to bear. That's what he said. So these guys are ultimate devils, man. And we can't wait till Yahweh Shemel Shai
That's right.
comes down here and push you motherfuckers in shackles. I hate Edomites, man. I hate Edomites. Just like every other brother here. Because they play this game. You know?
The victim game.
Go ahead, Ak.
You want me to bring it out?
Yeah, you can bring it up.
Yeah, Psalms 35, because I have it right here. Psalms 35 and 6. So simply put, this is our prayer, and it says it plainly, like what the brother just said. It says, let their way be dark and slippery, and let the angel of the Lord persecute them. You see? So now I looked up the word slippery, right? And we saw it there because we're spiritual. All praises to Yahweh Shemel Shai. And the word slip just simply goes to, in other words, when Esau makes a mistake like this, he's just escaping softly until his destruction comes.
Yeah, it gets worse and worse.
Yeah.
When you're slipping, you're about to fall. You can slip for 5 minutes and then you'll fall. But either way, you're slipping. So he's slipping because he's about to fall. That's what we're witnessing.
And a slip, say from a low place, it's not monumental, right? But to be from like the 20th floor.
Yeah. That's a hard fall. That's a hard fall.
Yeah. Right. I beheld Satan fall like lightning, man. You know?
Yeah. Yep. That's right.
Good.
That's right.
Yeah, his way is dark and slippery, man. That's it. That's all I got.
Come.
I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that.
I really don't think a lot of people are understanding right now with what's going on. They are doing exit inspections. U.S. citizens are leaving by the thousands at airports right now, but it's not getting coverage. Wave 1 is.
And real quick, let me get this precept because this man's a cruel lord. Okay, as we're about to get into that, what is it called? Horibes, I got it here actually. No. Yeah, what is the habeas corpus? Habeas corpus, and we're gonna get that a little bit later. But this man's a cruel lord because he's looking to get rid of this, and this just means this is like the same thing as putting in the Patriot Act during September. You know, it's just a different form of it, but it's the exact same thing. So I'm going to get Isaiah 19. And I get two precepts. I'll get this in NLT. So verse 2, it says, I will make Egyptian fight against Egyptian. Guess what? Edomite Egyptian and so-called Negro Egyptian.
That's right.
And Israelite Egyptian. Same thing. Brother against brother, and they are brothers. They're twin brothers. They're twin brothers. So you know, it says, it says neighbor against neighbor, city against city. And it's funny because these two people represent two different cities. Okay. Esau and Jacob. It says province against province. And so all of America, which is Babylon the Great, in the spirit is going to be what? Fighting against one another. And that's what you're going to call civil war. So civil war is synonymous to race wars because there's really only two races in America. You got the Jakes and you got Esau, Edom. You could say so-called whites, so-called Negroes, and so-called Puerto Ricans and the Latin tribes, and Latin Americans. Okay. Now I'm going to skip down from here, go to verse 4. It says, I will hand Egypt over to a hard and cruel master. And when we get into this habeas corpus, you'll understand why he's a cruel and hard master. Okay. Slacker. And it says, Isaiah 19:4, I will hand Egypt over to a hard and cruel master. A fierce king will rule over them, says the Lord Yahweh of heaven's army. Okay, so this man's coming down with great wrath, simply put.
ICE. Wave 2 is the police.
Right now, but it's not getting coverage.
Wave 1 is ICE. Wave 2 is the police. Wave 3 is the National Guard. Wave 4 is the entire U.S. military-industrial complex. Do with this what you will.
Alarm bells continue to go off as the Trump administration is actively considering suspending the writ of habeas corpus in America. Now, here's what this means. The writ of habeas corpus essentially protects individuals from unlawful detention in America. It allows them to challenge unlawful detention in the federal courts. If the writ of habeas corpus is suspended, it's only happened 4 times in American history, then individuals could be detained without having any due process. So
that's anybody. Real quick, let's get that. Habeas corpus, it says, we'll get it from here. Habeas corpus is a legal procedure by which a report can be made to a court alleging the unlawful detention or imprisonment of an individual. Okay, so basically it protects you from wrongdoings, from being imprisoned wrongfully. All right, it says, and requesting that the court order the individual's custodian to bring the prisoner to court to determine whether their detention is lawful. So you might have someone who goes to court and let's say they were blamed for a certain crime, but they were wrongfully blamed. That's what the habeas corpus is for. They get bring back to court, and you find out that you know what, they're not actually guilty, and then they get released. This man is trying to get rid of that, so that means he's after everybody, and it's no joke that he's pushing this race war, which means he's after you, Jakes.
Well, I think 9 out of 9 judges, and it's a Supreme Court judges, try to enact that rule, and they found it. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Just, didn't he sue a judge, right?
No, not that one.
Okay.
He sent somebody to El Salvador, whatever.
Oh yes.
Now, the person was deemed to be innocent, and 9 Jews ruled against him. And then the person still in El Salvador. No one knows about that person.
The Salvadorian president said he's not letting him go. He's keeping him.
Now he's kidnapping people.
That's right, man. That's a cruel Lord.
Yep.
Facts. Okay, let's go back here.
Saying Donald Trump's considering suspending habeas corpus, which means that they're considering taking away all of your rights. Like, if they can take that away, then they can arrest anyone, citizen or not, for no reason whatsoever. You no longer get a trial. You no longer get an attorney. You no longer get anything. If they suspend habeas corpus, they're basically suspending all of your rights.
I love the blacks being like, oh, we're going to...
Yep. Let me get this real quick. Okay, because
it
should be known. Yeah, I know. Con. Yep. Yep. This is Revelation 12:12. As we all know this precept, it says, therefore rejoice, O heavens, right? Both Jake and Esau, rejoice for a bit now, as you can. And you who live in the heavens, rejoice. This is NLT. But terror, so, sellouts of Jake and you Edomites, okay? But terror will come on the earth and the sea, for the devil has come down to you in great anger. So guess what? These Edomites are angry because they represent the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan. They are the adversary and they are the top deceivers on the earth. They're angry. Why are they angry? Because ultimately Jake is waking up. And why is Jake waking up? Because of the prophets of Yahweh Shai. Right? Now, ultimately, obviously we know that majority of Jake is not going to wake up to the truth, but they're going to wake up to the fact to fulfill prophecy. As the scriptures say, who shall rouse them up? Talking about Judah. Okay? It says, knowing that he has little time. So these devils know they have little time, so they come down with great wrath. Hence why this guy Donald J. Trump is gonna be that cruel Lord.
Elder, you did a lesson the other day about those guys training in the park, punches and running and with mace in their face.
Right.
If they think they can go up against Esau Edom with the weapons that they have, they're losing it.
Yeah, kind.
They're losing it, man.
I don't even know what to say about those guys, man. Like you, hey, you know what really it is? Those groups, their leaders, they know what's going on. Those leaders, see Esau, Israel, your leaders have sold you out to Esau Edom, and Esau Edom has sold out your leaders. Because these leaders, how the hell do you think running up hills is going to fight against Esau Edom? Your leaders, come on, man. Your leaders, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're just trying to secure their spot with their master, thinking that he's gonna keep them by his side like that dog, like a loyal pet.
Dog.
A loyal pet, a dog. But Esau hates every kind of Israelite. He's gonna get rid of those leaders too, because the Most High gonna put that spirit on him to be what? To be a it says what? To be a devil, to be the devil that he really is.
And it goes to show you that they don't believe in the Bible, because Esau's blessing was what? The sword.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Beautiful.
And that man, he loves to shoot live things. That's the reason why they go to Africa. Yeah, that's the reason why they go to Africa and shoot like lions and tigers and all these things. So you Jakes can't even move as fast as the lion and the tiger. Running up hills.
Wow, sorry.
That's funny. It's true.
Funny. No, I'm chuckling and you said it. I have to say it brother, real quick. Hey, man, Esau has a minigun. And I'm not talking from the movies. I've seen it in action. It's just a van pull up and 50,000 people will die if he wants to use a gun. Sorry. Come on. You guys
they have a heart attack gun.
Yeah. Anyway,
technology is going to get crazy. Another precept. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice. Right? And this is why Trump is doing what he's doing, right? For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth, and they consider you, Jake, as feeble. They consider the Bible as feeble. They consider your ways as feeble, and there's nothing worth for them. So guess what? They want to get rid of Jake completely. Okay. Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous, right? Starting with the elect, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doing. He upbraideth us with our offending the law, and objecteth to our infamy, which is infamy goes into being famous for evilness, for evil. Okay. The transgressing of our education, okay, which is that wine. He professes that to have the knowledge of Yahweh, and he calls himself the child of the Lord, Yahweh Shai. He was made to reprove our thoughts, and this covers a lot of Israelites. It's starting with the prophets of Yahweh Shai, and these bugged out Israelites, because even these bugged out Jakes are calling out Esau based upon what they're watching in terms of the Israelites. They're not 100% accurate, but it's happening on a large scale. So it says, he was made to reprove our thoughts. He is grievous unto us, even to behold. Wow. For Trump don't like you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. His life is not like other men's. His ways are of another fashion. We are esteemed of him as counterfeits.
Let's go into them small headers, first and foremost, right? Because we always say Atala Yahudi. You're not the people, man.
That's right. That's right. He abstaineth from our ways as from filthiness. He pronounceth the end of the just to be blessed, and maketh his boast that Yahweh is his father.
And let's go to the name Israel.
That's right.
We're saying we're the sons of the Heavenly Father.
That's right.
Okay? And we make that declaration each and every time we get, right? And we denounce your heading, right, as it pertains to us, what you call us.
That's right.
Even your government name, we shun them. Within this community of the elect, we call each other by our Hebrew names, man.
That's right. That's right. And he hates that. He hates it. It says, let us see if his words be true. Okay. And let us prove what shall happen in the end of time. End of him. For if the just man be the son of Yahweh, he will help him and deliver him from the hand of his enemies. These guys are proud as hell.
That's right. And that's going into the book of Judith, right? They're saying if 5 and 17 on down, it says if we find sin in him, then the Lord will not fight for them. But if we abstain from it, right? So that's what he's saying here again.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. You're right. That's why you have all these false leaders and teachers of Israel and the so-called black community, because for him to be justified and take you down, he has to find fault in you. That's why the elect are the main threat, because the elect, guess what? They're exempt. You see? So it says, let us examine him with despitefulness and torture, which is what they're getting ready to bring down upon you, or slacking upon you Israelites, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Right? So if you fake this, if you faking your relationship with Yahweh Bashim Ashab, and what I mean by faking it, I also mean, you're faking it, but you're also not taking it seriously. You might be sincere, but you're lukewarm. It doesn't matter. Okay? You got to be sincere and on fire. If you're sincere and lukewarm, guess what? When this man comes to try you, you're gonna pick his side over Yahweh Shai's side, based upon that torture, as he says, that we may know his meekness and prove his patience. Let us condemn him with a shameful death. So we're about to be demonized. For some reason, we're gonna be the head of everything that's going wrong for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. He's gonna do it.
Hey, why do you think those other camps, right, the Israelite camps, that keep pushing a narrative that the men of GMS great,
right. Exactly,
right? Because they're setting the stage for Esau, right, to hem us up, and that'd be a shameful thing to be put to death for such a crime.
That's right.
So you gotta be circumspect and be mindful. Why you guys keep saying that when we keep saying that's in the Bible, right? And so we're showing you, we men in the truth have children too. We don't lawbreakers.
That's right.
But we're saying what's in the Bible, and you guys keep pointing a narrative to set a stage for Esau. I can see them guys as crafty counsel with the enemy.
That's right, man.
It's
gonna be bad, man. It's gonna be bad. If you're not rooted in this truth, you're really gonna be shaken, because the videos, the deep fake, it's gonna be bad.
And also, I'm not gonna go there, but Ecclesiastes 2:2 it says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity." And guess what? The furnace, that's Esau's furnace, man. He's the adverse one, so he has a furnace set up just for us. The whole elect.
That's right. Finishing up, it says, "For by his own saying he shall be respected." Such, so they hear everything that we say, and they see all our videos. So it says, "Such things they did imagine and were deceived." And this is where the Lord is gonna raise up a standard, as the scriptures say. Okay, in that time, and that standard is going to come in many forms. Don't think, you sincere believers, don't think that standard is going to come in the form of you not dying. It can, but that's not the only aspect of it. All right, don't be carnal, because that the standard can come in a form of your mindset, right? Being ready to accept death. That's a beautiful thing, because people in this world, they crumble at the sight of death. That's why Esau Edom is able to blackmail a lot of our people to do wickedness or to die. So if you can overcome death mentally, guess what? You can't be blackmailed. You can't be used. So that's also a form of a standard. Yahweh Shah putting that mindset on you to accept death for your lot.
Okay. In the ancient world, man, our people like the righteous ones to escape their enemies, they'll fall in their sword, man. And it's fall in their sword. Now you stub your toe and you're Band-Aid.
Bro, this is why you're right. What you're saying is right, man. And Jake doesn't really think about how weak and feeble we are. We ain't shit. Like Saul, remember Saul? He's a wicked king of Israel, but he fell upon his own sword instead of them Hamites taking him out. A lot of you Jakes, and the majority of you Jakes, don't have that kind of honor. And he was a wicked Israelite. We need Yahweh Shai, man. So it says, "Such things they imagined and were deceived, for their own wickedness had blinded them." That's it.
Great.
So a little bit more in here. So this Edomite woman is about to spice some things up.
So they're basically suspending all of your rights.
I love the blacks being like, "Oh, we're gonna get a race war." if there was a race war, you wouldn't win. Okay. First of all, you might have plenty of guns, but you don't know how to shoot them. You think this is how you shoot guns. You think this is how you shoot a pistol. That's not. I know you saw that in a movie and you thought it looked cool. And you saw your favorite fucking rapper doing that, but that's not how you aim and shoot a gun.
Hey, she's control opposition. All you Jays are gonna watch this and you're gonna get infuriated. You're gonna go crazy. You know why? Because you're not the elect. Okay, you're not the elect, so you gotta play out your part in this grand movie of the Most High. What she's talking about is laughable, but she's right. Opposition. Oh yeah, she is right. But at the same time, she's right. But at the same time, she's wrong because Jake is more powerful than Esau in terms of these little low-level Edomites. You know, like let a Jake roll up on an average Edomite house, and let's see if they keep talking this kind of shit. When you go into those preppers of Edomites, yeah, okay, you know you're gonna get shot and whatnot, you know, and all this and that. Soccer, you gonna say something?
I was gonna say a lot of Esau, like they train their kids from they were young to handle the weapons, and I think that Esau. We underestimate them in terms of the power that they have.
You mean who do you mean we?
I mean based on like you said, you know, the low level Edomites, but we really don't know who's the low level Edomite because like she probably be a low level Edomite, you know what I mean? And they got many of them, but in their houses they got guns galore and they're waiting for the moment to use it. You get what I'm saying? Because they go to these training camps like on a daily basis to learn. To it's like a sport for them. You get what I mean? When for some of our people, it's just they don't have that knowledge in terms of how to use the weapon, the stance, the movements, how to maneuver certain things. That's just based on what I've seen, you know, on the internet. You know, from what I've seen, you know, these people, they're blessed with it, man. That's why they love it so much. You know, we can't do what they do. Not yet. Not yet. We can't do what they do. We like certain things they get away with. Like, look at what they did with the guy Trayvon Martin. He's a kid. Zimmerman shot him in the back. He got away with it. And that happens so many times. So many times, over and over. You got the cops in their patrol cars talking about they can't wait to kill a nigger. They can't wait to do that. They can't wait for a race war. You know, you got cops who are in the KKK who just are not unmasked yet. You know, and they train their kids for these things. So it's kind of can't underestimate them. That's all I'm saying.
I got a precept real quick. This is Psalm. Am I frozen?
No, you're good. You're good.
Oh,
I'm looking
okay,
at precept. Go ahead. Yeah, you're good.
The Psalm 73, verse 5. I read in the 7. It reads, "They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men." Verse 6. "Therefore, pride compass them about as a chain." And it's just being really prideful, you know, because she doesn't know the Bible. Right, and the Most High is going to stir up a spirit on Jake and Esau, so it won't be like in slavery time where you know they always have the upper hand. It's gonna get dirty, man. Very messy. Right, violence covers them as a garment, and she's actually speaking violence right now. First and foremost, you're calling a people black. That's a very derogatory term to be calling us, the sons of Yahweh Shem Yashai, man. You are the black people. Okay? And everything that you're saying about what you think the outcome must be, guess what? The Most I got a surprise for all your nations, man. Right? I'm gonna sit back and just watch it and just say, oh, laugh. Okay. Last verse 7. "Their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than the heart could wish." Right? Hey, you've gotten the land, right, under your subjection, under your rule. And first, you have the people, the Most High people. You have the sons and daughters, right, of Yahweh Shem Yashai under your feet, and you're bragging, showing off. Okay, no problem. The Most High Yahweh Hashem Yashai has something for all you heathens, man. All you heathens have is coming. All right, that's right.
Khan, I'm gonna get this precept real quick.
Khan.
This is Numbers 23, and I'm gonna start at 23. And I guess I'll get it in the NLT, see what it says. So Numbers 23 and 23, it reads, it says, no curse can touch Jacob. No magic has any power against Israel. I'm getting King James because really the Israel is talking about is the elect. Because 2/3 are definitely exactly. It's too gentle. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Verse 23, Numbers 23 and 23 in the King James says, surely there is no enchantment against Jacob, neither in that Jacob's talking about the elect. Okay, we're not caught up in this left-right paradigm that Esau is manufacturing. Okay, neither is there any divination against Israel. According to this time, it shall be said of Jacob and Israel, what hath Yahweh wrought? Verse 24 is the point. It says, behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion and lift up himself as a young lion. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey. Understand? So these Jakes are going to go fucking crazy. Esau can shoot, he can hunt, and Jake is just going to be a wild man going crazy. So it's going to be all out war. It's going to be all out race war and civil war. So it says, I'll read it again. Behold, the people shall rise up as a great lion and lift up himself as a young lion. He, because again, who shall rise up Jake as a lion's whelp? He's like a lion's whelp. Okay. He shall not lie down until he eat of the prey and drink the blood of the slain. Yo, that is a vicious spirit. Remember, the Lord said what? He's gonna put forth these spirits, right? Let them loose to appease his wrath. All right, so he's gonna open up the spiritual realm and let all these spirits, all these left-hand angels, jump on Jake and Esau to appease his wrath. So it's gonna be a bloodbath.
It's going to be a bloodbath. Also, like if I may say, like just like Rodney King in 1991, how they almost burned down to California, like LA.
Right.
Jay just went wild.
Yeah, Khan. And remember the George Floyd and all this stuff that they're talking about. It's funny enough. I think George Floyd, he had that. He had the control opposition tattoo on him. Look that up. When you look up George Floyd, he had control opposition tattooed on him. So that man was an agent just to get you, Jake's riled up. Okay. Even Trayvon Martin, his father was a high-level Freemason. He's a Prince Hall Mason. So this is, America's not real. This place is not real, man. Everything's a show. Everything's a show. It's not real.
Every time you say that, I keep remembering that motherfucker back there.
Coming to the stage.
Yeah, man. Wow. I'll finish it up here.
The only reason blacks have not exterminated themselves in the hood, because black-on-black violence is insane and through the roof, is because they're such horrible shots. So you really think you're gonna beat a duck hunter who shoots ducks for a living, for fun? Racism is just having a preference. I prefer not to live around black people. I prefer not to live in a country where white people in our country are disproportionately attacked by black people. Where in my country, you can have an Austin Metcalf where he asks a guy to leave and he gets stabbed in the heart. I prefer that. That's a preference. Now, what a real racist is, in my opinion, is seeing someone as less human. I'm a Christian. I believe everyone's created in God's image. So I don't see anyone as less human. But that doesn't mean I'm not allowed to have a preference and say, I don't like what happens to be coming out of this community or that community.
For decades, we've had black people literally running around with black supremacy, committing crime.
These guys are all control opposition. This guy, Fresh and Fit, he's a control opposition. All of them. Listen to what he says. And this guy is always interviewing black people, so-called black people, right? The women and Jake and the men.
or that community.
For decades, we've had black people literally running around with black supremacy, committing crimes, not getting accountability for their actions, and then they blame the system for it. For example, George Floyd, criminal. Ferguson, criminals. Freddie Gray, criminal. A lot of these people are criminals, and what ends up happening is they challenge a police officer, they get into a physical altercation, things go left, they die, something happens, use of force is utilized, and then they want to cry about the result. When in reality, it's not the police killing black people, it's black people killing black people. And if you want to talk about black on white violence, black people kill white people 2 times as much. And on top of that, most of the shootings in America, a lot of the times, are white people killing, white cops killing other unarmed white men. So this whole systemic racism or police brutality, or
and the thing is, like, they'll spit out all these stats and whatnot, and you don't even know if it's real or not. But it's because it doesn't have to be real. It's not. Yeah, especially when he said most white cops are shooting down Edomite cops. It's like, come on, man. Come on. That's obviously most Edomite. Hey, the police force is a fraternity. It's a whole ass fraternity. They don't give a shit about Edomites. Their target is Jake.
And that guy Myron is a plant, and he's also an Arab.
That's right. That's
right.
That's
a
right.
Brown skin, right? And then people, our people are so they're simple. You know, they see him. He's black. He's black. You know, they always want to gravitate or indoctrinate people based on a belief system as if all black people are the same. You know what I mean, well, in that sense, real truth, they are the same. They're all bugged out.
Yeah, they're all black.
That's right. You know? We don't deal with black people, man. You know, we resent and we shun that title.
Yeah.
You know, the apostle said, "What? You see a black guy coming, you know, his pants hanging down. You cross the street.
Go the other way.
Go the other way, man."
Hey, man, this is why we keep telling you, you rebellious Israelites. This thing's about the spirit. It's only about the elect. We don't care what you look like. If you have the elect, you have the elect.
That's right.
That's right.
It's also messed up. The reality is this. Black people have been able to get away with a ridiculous amount of privilege in America for a very long time. They're able to be racist with impunity. They're called white people crackers without being John's back. And quite frankly, white America's had enough of it, and the chickens have come to roost. Now, look, am I saying that's awesome?
What if the devil?
He's saying black people have been able to get away with
calling white people crackers.
Yeah, exactly. Calling white people crackers.
Okay,
no, the chicken has come home to roost.
Okay, what about his people?
People to do it. This guy's a real clown, man.
What about his people? His people bomb planes, right? And blow up buildings and blow themselves up, right?
Oh, man.
Right? He thinks Esau love him for speaking like that. Esau's still gonna bomb your, you know. Look at Yemen.
Yeah,
that's, you know,
he's still gonna take you out.
Yeah.
Byron. What's his name? Look where he's from.
Myron Faguzi.
Okay, try to look him up and see where he's from. His family's from. Type his name and see where he's from.
Okay.
Myron.
Oh, you typing them up?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah, look him up. And she's talking about black on black crime. How about Russia bombing the shit out of Ukraine bombing the Russia? That's white American crime on a grand scale, man. You know, that's white American crime if you never heard of it.
White on white crime.
God. Like they speak so lofty of themselves, like they don't do things, they're so civil, and you know.
Yeah, exactly. And this is why this is going to backfire, because you think you're making, you're building up a standard against Jake, but this is just actually you're walking yourself into prophecy. The Most High is the one orchestrating you to do these things, so that prophecy can be fulfilled.
Speed up this place.
Yep, this is gonna be my last precept before my brings up what he has. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 15. Socket, yeah, 2nd Ezra 15 to 15. It says, the war that will bring their destruction is very near. There's going to be civil war, race war, and then eventually it will be world war.
That's right, the arrows. And the war of all wars, the nukes.
Yeah, world war.
Fine, yeah, the cap, so to speak. Yeah.
It says here, the war that will bring the destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves and fight against other nations, right? so-called whites versus blacks. It says there will be great political turmoil. This is what we're entering into, with one group trying to over another and gain control. That's what we're seeing. Okay, while ignoring the legitimate government, and this is going to be anarchy. Okay, this is what all it's going to get into. It's going to get to that. It's going to get to the point where it's going to be civil, or it's going to be race wars, but it's going to also break out into civil war, which now everybody's going to be against the government. As it says, there will be no longer free access to their cities, martial law, and it says because the struggle for power will bring destruction, and it says terror and total confusion wherever people live, and that struggle for power is primarily happening through the two main characters of the Most High's movie, which is Jacob and Esau. Driven by famine. That's it. Actually, that's the point right there.
Hey, man, you find out anybody?
Yeah, he's from Sudan.
Oh my gosh.
Who? This guy?
Yeah. You know, he's Arab.
Well, hey, whatever. We don't even know what he is for sure. We can't say what he is for sure. Even if you're an Israelite, you're still wicked as fuck. You had Jason building a gymnasium for our people to be butt naked in for Greeks. So for Esau to watch. So hey, our people, hey, it doesn't matter what he is, our people are bugged out. This guy, and a lot of Jake watch this guy though.
You know what's funny? He's talking so bad about like these so-called black people, but when you look at what's going on in Sudan, it is one of the most cruelest country out there, man, with the types of crimes that they do. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking it up and it's like, wow.
Camels don't feel safe walking around. The camels are scared at night.
Mass killings, rape, torture. You know, especially to the people them who are non-Arabic. 300.
Well, how do they know? This is what I mean. It's complete nonsense. You people don't know what the hell you're talking about. How do you know who's non-Arabic? How do you identify that? Anyways.
Yeah, it's weapons of war, sexual violence, ongoing. These people, target killings, looting, attacks on hospitals and civilians, sexual violence, ethnic-based attacks. Yeah. So speak about your country, bro.
That's right. You know, and them camels you been sexing.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Any last precepts before we close up here?
That's
it. Straight.
Yeah, man. So Low Wilderness was straightforward and edifying to the whole full elected nation of Israel. We're gonna close by giving all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, double honor to the apostles and the elders and the bishops of Great Millstone who rule well and have taught us this word in truth and sincerity. Peace and mercy to the whole full elect, starting with the 144,000 and the rest of the elect, the rest of the 1/3. All right, that sincerely believe. Abba Babal, Kwama Shala. And shalom to the full elect.
Shalom to the full elect.